Hi everyone! I'm back to read from the chapter book, Who Was Abraham Lincoln? It's been a couple of busy days, so I'm sorry about that. And hopefully I can come back tonight to read the Dr. Seuss books, part 3. If not today, it'll have to be tomorrow. Okay? So chapter 10, Farewell to the President. Remember how he got shot? John Wilkes Booth was never brought to trial. A few days after the shooting, his hiding place was discovered. He was shot to death trying to escape. Booth thought what he had done was noble and heroic. However, all over the nation, people mourned the dead president. Clocks were stopped to mark the moment of his death. Millions came to Washington, D.C. to pay their respects. Then Lincoln's body was put on a special train back to Springfield. That was where he would be buried. His son Willie's coffin was dug up and traveled with him. Oops. I gotta show you the pictures. Silly me. Now I can read up. The train retraced the route Lincoln had taken when he first came to Washington as president. At each stop, there were elaborate parades with the coffin mounted on a wagon. Sometimes the lines were 3 miles long. People waited hours for the chance to say goodbye to the president they had loved. Mary Lincoln never really recovered from the shock of her husband's death. She was too upset to go to the funeral. Even now, people criticized her. They said when she left the White House, she took things that didn't belong to her. Her later life was not happy. Tad's death, probably from tuberculosis, at age 18, was a terrible blow. Of all her children, only Robert lived to be an adult. But he and Mary did not get along. For a while, he had her locked up in a hospital, claiming that she was insane. Robert had a long career as a lawyer and diplomat. He had 3 children and several grandchildren. Robert lived to be 82, dying in 1926. Today, 200 years after his birth, Abraham Lincoln is more honored than any other president, except perhaps George Washington. He appears on the penny and the $5 bill. He has a monument in the nation's capital, the Lincoln Memorial. His face is carved on Mount Rushmore. Many cities, several mountains, 5 national parks, and 19 counties have been named after him. Hundreds of books have been written about him. He is remembered along with Washington on President's Day. And then there's Mount Rushmore. Almost from the moment of his death, Lincoln became a larger-than-life figure. People saw him as a kind of saint. Of course, he was just a man. He made mistakes, and he held some opinions that are hard to accept today. But it is clear he was no ordinary man. He kept the country together during one of its darkest times. America was lucky to have him. The Lincoln Memorial. Only 2 years after President Lincoln's death, Congress first raised the idea of building a monument to honor him. The Lincoln Memorial wasn't finished until 1922, however. Lincoln's son Robert was still alive and went to the dedication ceremony. The memorial is molded on a Greek temple with a huge statue of Lincoln inside. On the back of a penny, if you look at the picture of the Lincoln Memorial, you can see a tiny statue between the middle columns. On the walls of the temple are engraved the Gettysburg Address and his second inaugural speech. But the engraver accidentally carved "future" into the stone instead of "future." You can still see where the misspelling had to be fixed. Several important events in Black history took place at the Lincoln Memorial. In 1963, Martin Luther King delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech from the steps of the monument. In this temple, as in the hearts of the people from whom he saved, the Union, the The memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever. All right, so I'm going to stop there, and then tomorrow I will read about the Gettysburg Address, show the timelines, so then you can see all that. All right, I hope you guys all have a great day. Remember, it's Friday. See you later.